being on stage here, it's tough to tell if the sound's coming through, but got a great program for you. It's good to see everybody without snow and ice and whatever else was happening last week. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and call up JB, who's going to do our opening prayer for us.
Thank you, David. President David. Let's bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this meal and the fellowship we share as Rotarians. Please bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies and strengthen our spirits for service. Guide our hearts and minds and uphold the principles of Rotary, self-service, integrity, and goodwill. May our actions today and always bring positive change to our community and the world. Amen. Amen.
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tony, you appear to be the closest. Did you come and fill in for Tom today? All right, Nancy, there. Sergeant Arms Joseph, do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Birthday cart buckets. A lot going on today. A whole lot going on. All right, birthday cart buckets are out. We have visitors with Rotarians. Jonathan?
Yes, I have multiple Sultana from Thomavsville Pediatrics visiting us.
Welcome. Glad to have you. Hunter?
Yes, I can go and pick it up and
Perfect. That was awesome. Okay. All right. Couple announcements. So I think the big one. Sam and Lindsay Everhart had birth of their second child, Avery Banks Everhart, was born February 8th, weighing 5 pounds, 8 ounces. Tony, any updates you want to share?
Mother and child are home safely, everything's going well. Had their first away from hospital checkup, everything looks good.
Awesome, glad to hear it. Thank you. All right. Other things too, I was asked, Chrissy Hakey is not here. She asked if I would announce the Oyster Rose on February 22nd. It's going to be at 6 o'clock at Colonial here in Thomavsville. If you know, they do an Oyster Rose in Lexington. Somebody reached out and offered to sponsor one here in Thomavsville, so I think it's an insurance agent or something. So if you are interested in that, you can see Chrissy or go online. And then right below that, or right above it, blood drive on February 20th. I do know we need people still to do the book giveaway tomorrow.
Sign up, please.
Sign up. Book giveaway here. We'll start. You mind passing that? Thank you. You can sign it too. You don't have to pass it that fast. All are welcome in this place. All right. And then I'll mention it, but but he may want to say something as well. March 5th is the Fat Tuesday Pancake Day. Doc, do you still sell tickets for that? Okay. I heard something. It sounded like not Doc. Okay. All right. Any other announcements, and then I've got a few people to call up. Phil?
We, First Presbyterian Church, this Sunday, and this happened the last couple of days, became news to us. But Dimitri Steinberg, who is a world-renowned pianist, has played in over 30 countries, played around the United States, performing Sunday afternoon, 12:30. Offered to the community, no charge. 12:30. We had any further notification, of course, we'd have planned it a little better, but that's the best we could do with his situation changed unexpectedly. So it would be a treat if Joseph probably played all these pieces himself. But to sit down with someone that's played them all over the world and can perform like he does, be something I don't think you want to miss if it's possible.
Thanks, Phil. Keith, you got a few things shared.
Thank you to the.
Oh, yeah, I said First Presbyterian Church. Did I say very well?
First Presbyterian.
It's going to be a First Presbyterian Church, didn't it?
You were still saying that's why I hesitated a minute there, Phil. All right. First of all, we had our annual meeting here last night, and it was a great meeting. I'll say this, and Steve, thank you so much for the venue. Thank you for the food. We've had nothing but positive feedback from that, and so you did a great job. More intimate setting. I thought it was a great night, and I really appreciate everybody that took part in that. A lot of them gave out donations. A lot of things were happening there. But we did recognize a whole lot of people last night for the good work they're doing in our communities. And I want to mention that because we've had a lot of Rotarians that were part of this last night. And so I want to take a little time to congratulate some folks. We gave out 3 Spirit Awards last night. One was to Laura Schweitzer, said Switzer last night, but Laura, and congratulations, you do great work in this community, and thank you for that. We also gave out our police and fire department. I don't know if Jason's here or not, but they do a tremendous job in our community, so they were recognized last night. And then I'll say Dr. Carrie Stansfield at Pediatrics is one. Then we had members of the year that we recognized, some folks that really do a great job in our community, that really support us at the chamber and also support our community in many ways. Heather Lewis, Ava's Fine Jewelries, was a member of the year. Thank you so much for what you do in this community. Let's give them a hand. We'll give you a hand too, Laura. And so Thomas Pediatrics was another member of the year, and so they do a tremendous job in our community as well. So you can give them a hand as well. We had a Founders Award last night. It's to someone that does a lot in our community, that behind the scenes, a lot of times not recognized for it, but really does a great job. And that was Ben Watford. Ben Watford does a tremendous job there in our community, so we're glad to honor him. Chairman's Award last night went to Andrew Clement. You know what he does at the Finch House and how he opens up to our community. Our outstanding citizen is one of our own here at the Rotary Club. He's done a tremendous job in our community for many, many years. He stepped up and helped tourism this year. Billy Freeman was named the outstanding citizen. So a lot of you guys took part. A lot of you are here, and we thank you for what you do for our community to make a difference. And we were just excited to have it here. And thank you again, Steve, for the great night. Thank you.
Thanks, Keith. Brandon, you wanted to speak for a moment?
Yes.
Thomavsville to all. Once again, thank you for the support that you guys gave through the Christmas parade float. The kids had an awesome time. I wanted to share some pretty big news that our organization has been facing for the last, since November, something like that. So, we kind of got an email from some leaders at our national headquarters that in November, and we've been kind of processing what this means and how we move forward with some things, but our leaders of Salvation Army and Boys and Girls Club have decided to end their national partnership. They have been partners for over 60 years. Our building is on Salvation Army, our vehicles, Salvation Army, our payroll, everything that operates on a day-to-day basis comes from Salvation Army. So it doesn't necessarily affect our flow of operations. It doesn't really affect our mission and goal of what we're really trying to do at our organization. But it does affect some programs that we do because we were partners. That's why we were called the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club of Davidson County. We will no longer be called the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club of Davidson County. Our name will be the Salvation Army Red Shield Youth Center of Davidson County. And that is not a change that's being made on a local level. That's all across the nation. That's Texas, that's Louisiana, that's anywhere in this nation that you'll find a Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club, you will not see them partnered anymore. So it definitely was not anything to do with anything that's going on here locally. I just think that, you have leadership at two great, well-known nonprofits, and sometimes they may not share the same vision, and sometimes change is inevitable. Of course, there's always things that you kind of think, how will this affect our programs? It definitely will in some respects, that we have to rename some of our programs. Instead of Power Hour, which is our homework tutoring, we would call it something else. But we're still going to do the programs. We're still going to be picking up kids, picking them up, having summer camp, doing all the things that we would normally do. But basically the way we would name those and call those might look different. It will affect some funding because we were partners to Boys and Girls Club. There are some pass-through partnerships through the Boys and Girls Club side that we may or may not be eligible for anymore. But we do believe that at the end of the day, what we're doing is for God, and that God will open up the doors and provide whatever is needed. I can tell you that on a local level here, we have more kids than we've ever had in our after-school program. I think we're up to 92, 94 kids enrolled every day here. So usually our numbers are around 60 to 70. We're doing great. We're doing really good with our programs and the number of kids we serve and our impact. But change is inevitable, and I wish I had more answers to tell you the reason why, but I was not in that room in Atlanta or wherever those headquarter decisions were made. I can only tell you that, my immediate thought and prayer was, Lord, what do you want me to do for the house, for the place that, you're trusting me to take care of? And when I prayed about that, he gave me a peace. And me and Lieutenant Allison, we have been brainstorming different foundations and different funding paths and opportunities so that we make sure that, the programs that we have won't be affected on any major way. And right now they have not been. We're already as of today is actually the day we're getting ready to put out our information for summer camp this year, early bird messaging. But long story short, there's people kind of get the message and get it kind of twisted or incorrect. And already got questions. Are you guys closing down? The Boys and Girls Club closed down, or is this closing down? And we are not closing down. We are not anywhere close. We're actually going in the opposite direction. We're very strong, and I give God the glory for that. But if you guys hear anything in the community about that, we are definitely staying open. We are definitely still serving kids, and we're going to make impact with your guys' support as well. So I just wanted to make that message clear so that everybody, and if anybody has additional questions or comments or anything you would want to know about it, myself and Lieutenant will stay after for a few minutes here to answer any questions. So that's the announcement. Yeah.
Brandon, I just want to clarify, so what you're saying is that your affiliation with the Salvation Army will remain the Salvation Army's affiliation with the Boys and Girls Club is what is going in two separate directions, right?
Yes. When people ask me how does these two organizations work together for so long, the way I always explained it was this. Boys and Girls Club is in essence a franchise, so to speak, if you could think of it that way. There are school systems that have Boys and Girls Clubs in them. There's housing authorities that have Boys and Girls Clubs in them. It just so happens that Salvation Army said, we would like to have Boys and Girls Club. And we want to add also the spiritual component in that. You know, so, and it also just happens to be that we're one of the longest, for 60 years partnerships with Boys and Girls Clubs. There are so many thousands of clubs. This is Raleigh, this is Charlotte, this is Winston, this is the Boys and Girls Club in High Point going off Cloverleaf. This is all, so it's definitely nationwide, but we always operated under a organization structure of Salvation Army. Again, that's how all of our processes internally were done. It just so happens we love their partnership with Boys and Girls Club because it opened up more doors and funding opportunities, and Boys and Girls Club has a long-standing name and reputation, but again, Salvation Army also does. And the work that we do, we had the kids actually out from Youth Center. I have to get used to that as well. Our Youth Center ringing the bells, and so we've always been one. But it probably will look even more like that now that, you're the Boys and Girls Club or you're Salvation Army. So all of our youth programming fall under the umbrella of solely Salvation Army now. So that's what we are. Salvation Army Red Shield Youth Center. Thank you.
Brandon, Allie, Angela, we appreciate what you all do for the community. My prayers are with you guys for sure. This is a unique transition, something obviously most of us have been through, but we'll keep you in prayers for sure. All right, other announcements? All right, let's do split pop.
You got all that to do.
While she's doing that, Coffee Connections is here tomorrow at 8:30.
Right before the book drive.
Right before the book.
All right, the winning ticket, the last three numbers are 424.
That's right. Oh, good, Don.
We got a little strummer going on there coming up. That's me. He likes Very close. Very good.
Sit down.
At this time, could I have the following members come join me? Allison Hamilton, Cindy McIntyre, Angela McKnight. You do not have to come in. In fact, please don't come on stage. It's like so you may not know, but one of the things that's important to our club is making sure that we have 100% tall pairs of the club. So money money is used every year and passed forward down the line to make sure that we have the ability for you all to be Paul Harris Fellows, regardless of sponsorship levels or donations or anything like that, or contributions to the club or Rotary Foundation. So it's my honor to be able to present to you on behalf of the club, Rotary Foundation of Rotary International Paul Harris Fellow to Cindy McIntyre, Angela McKnight, and Allison Hamilton. And I'll read it to you. The Rotary Foundation of Rotary International is hereby named a Paul Harris Fellow in appreciation of tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations among peoples of the world. So congratulations to all of you. All right. I think we got one more before we let Corporal Perkins speak. Danny, you got some birthdays.
I'll tell you, I look forward to hearing Stan do his birthdays once a month, and I'll do the best I can, but I'm not staying here. I look forward to that. This is January. We've made it into a new year, but in fact, we've almost made it through the whole month of January. January, on average, is the coldest month of the year. And this January has been no exception. In fact, Dave Williams woke up a couple of mornings and his teeth were chattering. They were still in the glass jar there beside his bed. And I heard about these two old boys decided they want to do a little ice fishing. So they got their things together, they got out on the ice and started to drill a hole, and they heard this voice say, "There are no fish here." And one of them looked at the other one and said, "Did you say something?" He said, "No, but I got this feeling we probably should move." So they moved to another location there on the ice. They got all their gear out. They began to drill a hole. And again, they hear this booming voice say, "There are no fish here." One of them said, "Did you say that?" The other one said, "No, I didn't say anything." He said, "You reckon the Lord's speaking to us?" One said, "I don't know." So he said, "Lord, is that you?" And they heard that booming voice come again. And it said, "No, I'm the manager of the skating rink. There are no fish here." January is a busy month. In January, we make resolutions and we break them just about as quick as we've made New Year's resolutions. If any of you made New Year's resolutions and you're still following them, then good luck. Congratulations, because you're among only the 23% of people who keep their New Year's resolutions beyond the second Friday of January. Also learned that January is the month where more couples separate and divorce than any other month of the year. It's kind of a sad thing. I don't know if it's ironic, but January is the month that Pennsylvania opened up their liquor stores first. It's also the month that you can get aspirin in tablet form the very first time. Some notable people that died in the month of January: Andre Casagnas. Andre was a toy maker. In fact, he's the one that created the Etch-a-Sketch. You know what the Etch-a-Sketch? He is the one that did that. It was reported that at his funeral that people were arranged in straight lines, one vertical and the other horizontal. You're a tough crowd. I told him I was going to try to get him out a little bit. Some notable people. Another person that died was Salvador Dali. You know Salvador Dali? They said he was a surrealist. You know, there's nothing about melting watches off of tables that seems real to me, but that's another story. Other people that were born in, not so famous people, but you might have heard of them, that were born in January: Dolly Parton, Justin Timberlake, Elvis Presley, Betsy Ross, and Popeye the Sailor Man. First song of the day. But more importantly, here's our friends that are Rotarians that were born this month: Eddie Bowling on the 10th, Doug Hunt on the 13th, Amy Boozer, 14th, Chuck Beebe on the 15th, Patrick Jackson on the 20th, Stan Sires on the 22nd, Matt Ridge, who by the way has an 84.88% winning percentage at BDCC in the snoring, and Beth Atkins, our CCM motorist person, was born on the 28th. So I'm asked to remind you that those blue buckets on the table, you can put money in there in memory or in honor of those who are celebrating their birthdays. Do that. And for birthday people, please stand and we'll sing happy birthday to you. The most important thing that you're going to hear me say is I want to introduce to you Corporal Alex Perkins from the Davidson County Sheriff's Office. They've got a new program going on, and we need to hear about it. I work a lot with different sheriff's departments around the state through taking care of officers who've been involved in some things. And I tell you, our Davidson County Sheriff's Department's got a great reputation among the state, and we're privileged to have them do what they do and look after us and take care of us. So we welcome them.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir.
Bear with me just a second. A lot of the bottom of the TV was with
It should easily go away. Just a second.
Okay, well, either way, while we're waiting on them, I am Corporal Perkins. I do work for the Sheriff's Office. And today I want to talk to you about Project Lifesaver. It's a program that I've been working on looking into for the last 6-7 months. And I feel that it's desperately needed here in this county. So again, thank you for having me. Thank you for feeding me today. I appreciate that. Don't worry, this shouldn't be any longer than about 2.5 hours. Just get comfortable. So first off, we'll talk about the issue, and then we'll go into what the program is. So there is a portion of our community that has a tendency to get lost, to wander away from homes, whether that be an elderly person that's got dementia or Alzheimer's that will wander out the front door, going on a walk down the road, and then get lost and forget where they are. To children with Down syndrome or autism, those that truly can get lost if left on their own. Okay, this is a problem that we've had in our county and elsewhere that this program is designed to help address. So what is Project Lifesaver? It's a nonprofit organization that's been around since '98. Their system does not use GPS technology, which we'll get to some of the equipment later on. But their stuff uses radio frequencies. Some people believe that GPS is the way of the future, and radio frequencies are kind of antiquated. But my feeling in this type of situation, the less you can have fail, the better. And GPS has a lot of failure built in with it. So this system is designed using radio frequencies. And I'll go into more about how that kind of works as well. Overall, this is an electronic system that is used by first responders to help locate and search for at-risk individuals. So this is talking about the equipment. So as far as the person, the one that has the issue, the elderly or the young child with the cognitive issue, this is what they would wear. It's a simple band. If you've ever been to the hospital and had one of their very comfortable armbands put on, it's made exactly the same way. There are aftermarket stuff that they can buy, but this is what it traditionally stays as. These bands are designed to be worn 24/7 while they're showering, while they're eating, while they're sleeping. It is designed not to come off. The only time that it comes off is during battery changes, and as that last point says, battery changes about 30 to 60 days, give or take. So they wear this all the time, and that's paramount for this program, because if they don't have the device on, then whatever technology we have is not going to help. It's not going to work for it, it's not going to serve, it's going to find the band, not the person. So having this be on them at all times is paramount. And as you can see, there are two different ways of wearing it, on the wrist and at ankle. This particular slide talks about the equipment on the agency side, so the responder side. What are we going to use to help find them? So the person has the armband on. We're going to use this big radio antenna gun looking thing, like it looks like it was made back in 1970. Again, antiquated, but we know it works. This device, the armband is going to send out a pinging signal over across a radio frequency. This device is designed to pick up on that ping, and we are able to zero in on where that person may be and walk right to them. The other stuff that we're going to get as far as the agency, along with this kit of the receiver and everything, is training provided by Project Lifesaver. They're going to give us 3 days worth of search and rescue, basic search techniques, how to use their equipment, how to interact with the person once we find them. Because a lot of times, if they're lost, if they're wandering around, or if there's a child that's out in the woods that's scared, how do we as a first responder talk to them? How do we interact with them when we get to them? Because they're in a state of crisis, we need to know how to interact with them. So that's another part that they're going to provide as far as the training goes. So this is a very crude illustration of how this process is supposed to work. So here you've got kind of a house, you got an elderly gentleman here, and he's just going out for a walk. Happens every day here in Davidson County. They'll go down the walk or down the road, take a path down through the woods, whatever it be, and they go on a walk. Once they get on that walk, they get over here and they go, oh man, that's a cool pond. And they get sidetracked, okay? They wander a little further, and now they're lost, they have no idea where they've been. Even if this is their own property, even if they own this land, even if they've been to this pond 1,000 times, they can get lost. They can forget where they're at or where they need to go or how to get back home. So what happens at this point? Well, the family goes, where did he go? Where is he at? What do we do from this point? Traditionally, without him wearing an armband, they're going to call 911 and we're going to come out. And we're going to do a hands across America kind of a search through the woods till we find him. It's a labor intensive, very big personnel intensive kind of operation. But with this system, we have a guy that is trained with our antenna receivers, deploys it, sends out the signal, picks up his signal from out in the field, walks right to him, and boom, we found him. It's a very, very big critical time saver. And in these incidents, time is critical. We're able to walk him back and reunite him with his family. It's a big deal. So, this particular slide, I want to give you kind of a scenario. Okay, this is one that hits very close to home, and Sergeant Davidson will understand and hear why. So I'm going to give you a scenario. It's a 9-year-old autistic child. The family states that argument occurred with the mother and the child left out the residence. Walked out. He was mad. He walked off somewhere. He's wearing a shirt, pants, no shoes. Okay, it's a big deal. So he's not wearing a coat, no socks, no nothing. Temperature outside is about 30 degrees. Now, if you're the parent of that 9-year-old child, what are you thinking? It's the same thing that we're all thinking on the law enforcement or first responder side. We've got to find this child, we've got to find him now. It is too cold for that child to be outside for an extended period of time without that clothing. The reason I bring this particular scenario up is because it happened. It happened about a week and a half ago, or a week ago, down close to Tyra. Same exact scenario, just like that. The kicker to this part too is that the call came in at 10:43 in the morning. The first deputy that was on the scene got there at, I believe, 10:51. Yes, 10:51. So the first deputy was on the scene in 8 minutes. We didn't find the child until 11:52. That was 1 hour and 9 minutes from the time we received the first call. Now, mind you, that first call is when the family realizes the child's missing too. So you don't know what that time delay is from him actually wandering out to when they call. So it's a big time, big deal, right? The kicker to this is the child was actually in the house the whole time. He was in the house, okay? Now, while that's funny, yes, I agree, 100% hilarious. Had this family been using our system and had we been able to deploy it, we would have been able to find that child in that house much quicker and been able to solve this without any issues. That is the kicker with this program. Yes, if he was in the woods, even better. But this is what this program is designed to do. It's designed to help us find those that need help. This slide, all I'm indicating here is I have spoken with a couple of these different agencies that utilize this system as well. It's already in place. It's been around for a while. Every single one of them I've talked to say that they believe in this program, it has worked for them, and it puts in place the reassurance to these families that have these loved ones with these issues. Because imagine being a family member and having grandma or whoever that has these issues, what do you do as a family member? Because there's not a whole lot of answers right now, other than trying to lock them inside houses, that's not a good idea. So it gives a lot of reassurance, it does a lot of good things. Like I said, every single agency I've talked to that has it believes in this program. This is just a running list of every agency I can find in North Carolina that uses it. It's not an extensive list, but that's what I was able to find. For the most part, it's Sheriff's Office, a couple of PDs, but for the most part, it's Sheriff's Office. This one and the next one is nothing more than a graphic to show you where across the state all these agencies are using this program. It's everywhere. And there's another added benefit to this program that if we're involved with it, and let's say Randolph County is involved with it, we have access to each other's information. So let's say family from Randolph County, they're coming over here to Finch Park to go to a family birthday party. Okay? They have a 9-year-old child that is autistic, already enrolled in Randolph's program. While down at Finch Park, 9-year-old wanders off in the woods and now they can't find him and he's lost. We can utilize Randolph's information and help find that child. So this is a very integrated system that is constantly building more and more agencies. And this one is nothing more to show you across the United States. A lot of people using it. It's a well-established program. So this one, I threw this one in there just so y'all kind of had a notion of kind of where I'm at with this project. Like I said, I've been working on this for about 6 or 7 months, trying to get as much information as I can, as much knowledge as I can about it. I have presented this to the administration of my office, and they're for it. They're 100% for this program. So we're now at this next step of, well, how do we pay for it? Because nothing in life is free. We've all figured that out. Money makes the world go around, unfortunately. So that's part of why we're here today. I'm going to go over some of the basic costs of what it's going to cost our agency to try and implement this program. So you see right there, our initial startup for the agency is about $5,000. I don't have a hard set number, but it's going to be about $5,000. Everything you see on the left is what will be included with our equipment, our training, all of that package that comes from PLS once this project gets initiated. So at the bottom, you got 2 response packs, you got the receiver, you got a couple of bands, all that good stuff. So we will have enough with that to get the program started. That middle section is the trainer's fees. So it's the other side of what PLS does. They have in-house training experts that go nationwide that will come here to Davidson County Sheriff's Office and provide us a 3-day training on how to locate these individuals and how to use the equipment. So there's a little cost of bringing them in. Now our trainer locally is out of Hickory, so thankfully that cost will be relatively low, but it is included there. So it's about $5,000 on our side to get started. In addition to this in there, if we needed additional receiver like the little antenna guns, it's going to be about $12 additionally for that, but that's after initial. This part right here, I don't know how I feel about this slide, because what this talks about is the cost it costs for the family or the individual to be enrolled into the program. Because just like everything else and stuff in the agency, well, these devices, bands, and testers are not free either. So what PLS has decided to provide is they do an initial package for the individual. So we get a box that has a year's worth of armbands, which would be 6, a year's worth of batteries, which would be 6, the waterproof case, and a battery tester for $350 for the individual families. Now, to me, that's a large number, especially for some of these families that money's tight, because it is a recurring cost. Initially, it's $350, and then you got to keep buying bands and batteries. So part of what I have proposed to do is to try and help offset that cost for families, because if they can't afford it, they won't be enrolled in the program. If they're not enrolled in the program, this program doesn't do them any good. So that's part of what I'm trying to pitch, is trying to get this to the side of no cost to families. Will it happen? I don't know, but I'm trying to. So my goal, what I'm trying to get to is $10,000 overall. What that does, the initial package for the agency is about $5,000. I'm trying to allot about $5,000 to buy those initial packages for the families so we can get this started and get more families enrolled. Of course, it'll be reoccurring more and more, but that is my initial goal. Once I get to this point, I think we can initiate it and get going with PLS. Kind of in summary, this is very, very quick points on it. It does build trust between the sheriff's office and the community, which is always a big plus, showing that we're not always there just to arrest people and make people mad and upset them, okay? We are truly here to try and help. In any situations, that's all we want to do is help find them and bring them back home safely. This project is trusted by a lot of agencies. You saw those graphics. It's everywhere. People use them all the time. Forwards reassurance to families, we talked about that. Relatively low cost. I mean, for a potential saving a child's life that's wandered out in the cold, what's a couple $100? So to me, relatively low cost for trying to save somebody's life. And of course, as I mentioned a couple times, time is critical when finding these children. With that said, again, my name is Perkins. I put my cell phone in my office number there. As far as today, I don't want money today. Don't want it. I don't have anywhere to put it. I don't have anywhere to stow it. What I am asking is to consider it. Think about it. Let me know. I'm looking to try and get some basically financial commitments as to how I can help pay for this program. So like I said, if you have any further questions, there's obviously a lot more detail, a lot more that can go into this. I don't have time to cover in this little presentation for y'all. I don't want to take up any more time than need be. So if you have any more questions or concerns or thoughts about what does this program do, how does it actually operate, any of those questions, feel free to reach out. Even if you don't take my number down, I work at the office Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 almost every day. I work back in the evidence CSI section, so I'm pretty much at the office most days.
What's the distance on this thing? I mean, if somebody gets lost.
So on the ground is about 1.5 mile radius. The idea moving forward, kind of further that question, the Sheriff's Office has also recently purchased 2 drones several months ago. So this is to work in conjunction with our drone team, which I am part as well. And it's all supposed to work together. So that's what we're trying to get to. Eventually, I'd like to see this program grow everywhere. There are ways to do partnerships with the city, with Thomavsville, Lexington, and Denton. We can all fall under the same umbrella, have the same information, the same equipment, do the same training. That way, if something happens in the county, and for some reason, our operator for the Sheriff's Office is unavailable, they're out on vacation or whatever, we can ask Lexington PD to step in, we can ask Thomavsville PD to step in. So these are all goals I have set for the future, but I have to get past this initial point first. But yeah, it's about 1.5 mile radius on that. Good question,
So, I presume maybe a FM band, low frequency,
Yes, sir.
but does each person have their own frequency out to 1,000? I mean, if you've got somebody that lives here in this house and 5 houses down, there's another person.
So the way these are set up, so I don't know the exact decimal, how they break up these frequencies. But what happens is once a family gets enrolled in the program, which we will have to handle in-house logistics of how that'll actually happen. But once they're enrolled, they get a band. That band has a very specific frequency assigned to that one band. And as part of, let's say that family calls out and say, hey, they wandered off, well, we can look at our portal, basically pull up their frequency number and be able to search for that specific person. There was another question that was asked during the admin meeting was, if they're wearing these bands and they're transmitting all the time, what all is being transmitted? It is nothing more than an audible ping. There is no information being sent out, no names, no birthdays, no anything. It is just an audible ping coming from the wristband itself. So yes, every individual person with their individual band gets their own frequency, and that's how we define them. Good question. Yes, sir.
We've had some situations locally just in the last month where unfortunately people in a body of water.
Yes.
Does water affect their ability to find the person?
So it depends on how deep. Right now, like I said, these bands are designed to be waterproof. A lot of it will have to depend on timeline as well. If we are called out within a matter of minutes, matter of hours, no, it would not affect it enough where it would be operational. I know I mentioned this is using radio frequency versus GPS. That is an issue with GPS a lot, is that GPS has to be getting a good signal from a cell tower. And depending on how far deep you are in water or how close you are next to a metal building or a tall tower or whatever it is, that can throw off cell service. This does not. So to answer your question, for the most part, no, it would not affect it as far as water goes.
This is for any of y'all that may be radio operators. The easiest way to think about this is it's like your same signal that the ham radio has. Line of sight affects it, and metal buildings. Them are your big ones. Brick, walls, it would pick it right up inside this room here, no problem. I've been on been doing rescue for this is my 32nd year this month. My birthday's this month too. I joined the fire department in '93. And I can tell you, I could sit here and talk for you the next 3 days on how valuable this is. I'm a certified search analyst, so I go in and help write the profile on the person that's missing. Lack of better words, there's a book on it. It's called The Search Manual, and we've never found it to be wrong. And I can't tell you how many times we would talk to people and be like, well, Papa's, he's 82. He can't walk across the kitchen without his walker. And we find him 3 miles from the house. Little kids are notorious. They followed the dog. They followed the rabbit. And while they can't walk, an average person can walk 3.5 to 3.7 miles per hour. So you span your search fast. That, an hour's gone, he could be that far away. We find people beyond that because they're not in the same mental capacity. I've been preaching this system for over 15 years. It is a good system. I'm 100%. It was funny when Corporal Perkins found it and started talking about it. I hugged him. I was like, oh, this is great. There's a drone specifically for this, and it's all autonomous. You send the drone out, and it has the antenna on it, and it's searching while we're gathering resources. I mean, that's the future, but that's where it's headed. It is a good program, 100%.
Yes. And I just barely touched on it, and Bernie did a little bit as far as getting information about these individuals. So a lot of times, like the 9-year-old we had a week and a half ago, all the information we had was being given by the mother on scene at that time. So it's hard to ask a lot of questions of, well, where does the child like to go? Does he have any routine places he likes to go and hide out or play? Does he have any friends that are local that he may be going to? Does he wear a certain shirt all the time? What are his likes and dislikes, especially with an autistic child, so that when we find him, he is in crisis. Can I talk about trains to get him calmed down enough to get him to walk back home? All of those questions are answered within our portal system that is filled out when his family signs up for the system. So all of those questions, all of those answers, we can know immediately once the call comes in. We're not relying on real-time information from the mother or whoever the family is from it. So that adds another big key point of this, is being able to foster that relationship between us and the family to get more information. In these situations, more information is always better than less information. Yes, ma'am.
This seems really cool. Do you foresee the ongoing costs being built into the sheriff department budget? Because it seems like a pretty life-saving
So, my position from where I'm at, I would like to say absolutely. Can I give you a real answer on that? No, I can't. I would truly love to say yes. I know the biggest hurdle we have right now is that initial cost.
$10,000?
Yes. Because that is the biggest chunk of money that's required to get this moving. Once it's on the ground and operational, then we're talking about just the kits and the armbands for the families, or maybe an additional receiver if the other one breaks, that sort of stuff. So the largest part of getting this rolling is the initial start. But to truly answer the question, at the end of the day, I don't know. I would love to say yes. Hopefully yes.
To add just a little bit to that, looking around the room, no show of hands, but how many of y'all were volunteers for a rescue squad, a fire department, a municipality? Everybody, most people in this room remembers before EMS was paid for. The first pay EMS didn't start until the 70s. I mean, the coroner handled all that. So when I started 30 plus years ago, we had 50 people on the rescue squad. So it went missing. It was nothing. Within 45 minutes to an hour, we'd have 50 volunteers out searching for a kid. We had a gentleman call 911 the other day. He's lost in Uwharrie Forest, and we had 4 people show up. Now let me tell you, it's a lot of searching with 4 people. people are busy now. We just don't have the resources. So this is a great, this eliminates a lot of resources. Well, now you start talking about having to supplement that with paid officers, paid firemen, paid people here. And this is, it's really a no-brainer. And, you know, that's why we're here, just trying to pass the information along and educate people with what's going on in our county.
Yes, sir.
You were showing all of those red dots all over the country. Now, they are already established and set up, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Many of them have been a part of this program for 15, 20, 25 years.
But there is not one of those indicators for Davidson County.
That would be correct, sir, yes.
And $10,000 is the amount, did I hear you right? That
To get us started and moving, yes, sir. That's my goal.
Thanks, Jim.
I would think that could be done relatively easily. I really do.
I believe that as well. It's just trying to make everything come together at one point. That's been the hardest part.
Has it been pitched to the commissioners yet?
No, it has not.
That's what.
You got several city council people sitting in this room, and I know what we're thinking. Commissioners need to hear your program. That should be easy. It really should.
And that will be a part of these steps as well.
Spending money.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Do you foresee it being difficult to get the people who might potentially need this service to sign up for it?
The only difficulty I see in doing that is the money side of it. If you're a family, depending on your financial status, $350 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So as far as it being difficult to reach some of these families, I think that's going to be the only hurdle for them. Now, some of them will need some of that education of, some will be worried about, well, is my information being sent, who's holding it, that sort of thing. All of that can be reassured and corrected and fixed easily. A lot of times it is that $350 that scares people and they don't want to be a part of it. And like I said to begin with, this program only really works if we have participation from the community. And so it's going to take a lot of publicity and a lot of us trying to clarify and talk good about this program in order to make it work. And honestly, if we can get it to work for one family and we find one child with it, everything will be worth it for them.
I have a question. Multiple part, of course. How long does Randolph County have it? How is it funded in Randolph County? And how many people are on it? And do they subsidize or pay for the $349 fee?
So Randolph County is a little bit different. I didn't go too
We knew that. No.
I didn't go too deep into Randolph County because they. Okay, all right. Let me kind of split this up. So I told you GPS is not really an option. It's about 95% true. Okay. Project Lifesaver is partnered with a company called TheraCare, that they do provide GPS units that act very similarly to what Project Lifesaver is. Randolph County has decided to go with the TheraCare system that is partnered with Project Lifesaver. As stated before, I don't agree with the GPS side of it. I think there's a lot of things that can fail with GPS. That's why I'm advocating for the radio frequency side of it. As far as how is Randolph paying for it? So they requested and was granted a grant fund for it. It was granted last July, I believe. So they are still in the process of trying to implement a lot of it, trying to get it, all their paperwork they've got to go on there and get it rolled out. So they have it lined up, they have things moving, but they basically had it for about 6 or 7 months. And that's how theirs is funded through a grant. I have looked, that grant no longer exists. I don't know how invested or how deep you all are with grants here in the state and federally. A year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there was grants everywhere for everything. as the last time I looked, was granted been a couple of weeks, I think there was 3 or 4 grants available right now, and none of them have anything to do with finding anybody. So right now, that grant option is not an option. I will tell you that some of the other agencies that I've talked to, Guilford County, theirs is sponsored and was initially paid for by the Pilot Club of Guilford County. Lincoln County, theirs was initially funded by their Rotary Club, and then after that initial was paid, I think the Rotary Club still does family sponsorships if the family needs financial assistance. But after that point, it came from asset forfeiture, was how Lincoln County continues to fund their program. So there's been several different ways of how agencies have found ways to pay for this. And that's what we're here doing today, is trying to find ours.
Okay, I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Since Guilford County or Randolph is funded with that TheraCare, whatever, can it be a Medicare? Can Medicare assist with any of that for the elderly patients? Medicaid? I don't know.
I honestly don't know. That is a good question. I would have to look into it. It would make sense that the answer would be yes, but I don't want to tell you something wrong. So I would have to look back into that and get you an answer. I'm not sure.
Okay.
One quick question. How many people did you guys have to put down last year in the ballpark? And did that cost $10,000 with paid officers, paid firemen?
I can go ahead and tell you an average search is $50,000. I mean, you figure the hourly salary for the person, one searcher, one truck, one piece of equipment. And yes, to answer your question, you can go online and you can actually see the breakdown of everything there is. I can tell you, just here in Davidson, I responded to 4 last year, and we found them anywhere. The fastest one we found was a couple hours, and then we searched for one for about 5 or 6 was the longest.
I know we had one about 2 years ago that it was an elderly gentleman that had left the house.
Yeah.
And we searched for him for almost 2 days.
Yep.
Till he was located. And that's the thing with this searching. Part of our gig, we're not going to give up, regardless of the equipment, regardless of, if we got out there with a pair of tennis shoes and a t-shirt, we're going to go find these people. So, in my mind, if we can find a way that's going to help us find these people faster, more efficiently, and hopefully at the end of the day cost a whole lot less money, then that's what makes sense to me. As far as the character of all these people out here looking for these people, we're going to keep looking until we find them. So, as far as hard answers and numbers, I'm not sure, but to me it's definitely enough to make this worthwhile. There's another question. Yes, sir.
I was just curious, has this never been proposed in your annual budget?
Not that I'm aware of. As far as I'm aware, systems similar to this, there are other for-profit companies that operate similarly to this in the GPS systems. One of them did come in and give a demo to our admin a while back. I don't know what, obviously the answer at the end of the day was no, because we don't have it. But I'm not sure the inner workings of that conversation. But as far as this being brought up in a budget, as far as I'm aware, the answer is no. And general budget wise anyway.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Like I said, if y'all do have any further questions, if something comes to your mind, or you just want to know how it works some more, just give me a call. I'll talk to you anytime. Thank you for having me. Thanks for being this. I appreciate all of that.
So go ahead and stand and join me in the four-way test. It's a good crowd today, a lot of cool things. We appreciate this service of local law enforcement very much. Thank you for all you guys do in the community, keep people safe and everything. Appreciate, excited about the new tall hair fellows that we've had added to the club, and great to see people that we may not have seen in a long time. So, as we go out and interact with people, we always want to give ourselves the four-way test and ask ourselves these things. First, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? If you're a guest